Warzone Season 4 has arrived, and along with it, the top 10 best loadouts that you want to be using on day one of the update, because there has been a whole ton of buffs, nerfs, and changes, along with 2 brand new weapons being added into the game, including an SMG and an LMG that you're going to want to know about so you can get the most kills and wins that you possibly can. But I'm going to go straight into the first loadout, and I actually think this is probably going to be my go-to. First of all, the KGM40, right? This has never really received much love, but it's now an absolute laser beam and has had its damage increased, which was always the problem with it. It was always a bit of a pea shooter. So one of the easiest long-distance assault rifles to use. You want the Mercury Silencer on there, the 720mm shrouded barrel. Mercury Silencer is probably now the go-to since the MX Silencer got a universal nerf. I've got the Reisdorf 720mm shrouded barrel, the 3 to 6 time optic, because especially on Fortune's Keep, there is a lot of long ranges of different lines of sight ranges on people on rooftops or like camping in kind of like windows. That 3 to 6 is going to be really helpful, kind of depending on the distances that you're fighting at. Crossdick 12V stock, sleight of hand because it's slow reload, fully loaded, polymer grip, the 8mm 60 round drum, lengthened, and then the M3 ready grip. Give this a go, especially with the STG nerf. This is probably the replacement and go-to if you want a really easy to use assault rifle that's just going to allow you to get those like headshots and upper chest shots quite easily and hit your shots. I think it's the most important thing. And the Blixen did receive a nerf with the Season 4 update. However, it is still an absolute melt machine. Do not kind of just disregard it. It's still probably the best SMG in the game, but you want the recoil booster, the Bergstorm 17-inch F3 barrel, the slate reflector, remove stock, steady, quick, groove grip, the 36 round Gorenko mag, lengthened, and then the SG98 compact. That is definitely the best setup for this. The 54 round did get a bit more of a nerf, but if you're playing quads, go for it. It's not that big of a difference, but the 36 round if you're playing solos or duos. I've been playing a lot of solos recently, so I've been rocking the 36. And that's the first loadout. And trust me, if you want a lot of kills and easy wins, this is something I would really recommend going for. My next loadout includes the NZ41, which if you may remember, has actually got quite a big nerf it's actually not got that big a nerf compared to like the STG, but just to kind of the burst barrel kind of like hack, where if you ran the burst barrel, you could pretty much eliminate all your recoil. And it was a bit overpowered, not gonna lie. However, they have buffed the Orbweaver BC barrel, which has made this one of my favorite assault rifles in the game still. It's still got a very fast time to kill, hard hitting, still easy to use. And has nowhere near as much recoil because they did adjust a lot of the assault rifle recoil patterns. But Orbweaver 316mm BC barrel, Mercury Silencer, 2.5 times optic, Orbweaver E-Pack, acrobatic, fully loaded, stippled grip tape, the 50 round drum, the 50 round mag, sorry, not a drum, lengthened, and then the M1941 hand stop. Then with that, I'm pairing it with the Sten. Now the Sten has received some of the more significant buffs in the Season 4 update that makes it viable. Like, this thing has a very fast time to kill. It's got incredible mobility, and is honestly the perfect gun for running around Fortune's Keep and Rebirth Island. Downsides with it, if you run the 50 round drum, which is kind of what I normally go for, it just covers your screen. You're sprinting around and you just got this giant mag in your screen. If you run the 28, it's perfect for solos and duos, but you may struggle. But if you can get around just not tack sprinting everywhere, the 50 round's great. Otherwise, go for the 28. Your movement speed with this is unreal, especially like if you want a full mobility build, you can go for the 36, but 9mm 50 is what I've gone for. Recoil booster, the short barrel, slate reflector, the Gawain Para stock, acrobatic, quick, groove grip, 50 round drum, lengthened, and then the Mark 6 skeletal underbarrel. Very, very good build. Just keep in mind about the kind of the mag blocking your view. But I think we're going to see a lot more people running the Sten. And I was joking about this earlier, but I'm just going to show you. It did make me laugh that both the KG, right, and the and the Sten got a bundle which both had blueprints in. But you know, right, if you do pick something up, use code Benny in the store if you're picking up that new battle pass. But my next loadout includes the Whitley. Now the Whitley, I'd say, is a little bit harder to use. It's got a bit more recoil and kick, but a very, very fast time to kill. And I absolutely love that LMGs seem to be coming into the meta with Season 4. On the Whitley, Mercury Silencer, 28-inch Gracie MK9 barrel, the SVT 3 to 6 times optic. You can go for the G16 2.5 if you want. CGC 9 R4 stock, hard scope, fully loaded, the polymer grip, the 45 round British mag, lengthened, and the M19 41 hand stop. Just remember the recoil is a lot harder to use on this. You could potentially, if you want, go for the rubber grip for that kind of like constant vertical, but I found polymer's still probably the best option for this. It was kind of on the fringe of the meta last season, and with the buffs that it's received this season, I think it definitely slots in there. Harder to use, but definitely worth it with the TTK if you can. The Armor Guerrera actually also had its kind of like a few buffs and nerfs. It had its damage range dropped off, but then had its minimum damage increased. And this barrel actually didn't get touched, which is the one that I've always used, which is the precision. So I'm going for those headshots, which give you such fast TTKs at those longer distances and close range. But Armor Guerrera, love it. If you don't like the Blixen or the new SMG, Armor Guerrera is probably the one you're going to want to be using. Recoil booster, the precision barrel, Largo iron sights, Immertio SA folding, hard scope quick, polymer grip, 60 round mag, lengthened, and then the M19 41 hand stop. Works perfectly for me would honestly recommend it hugely. Next, we've got the BAR. It's had, once again, it's been a bit more tuned and just kind of overtakes the STG now. It was, as I said, in the last season, it was kind of like NZ41, STG, BAR. BAR kind of sits in the same place in the kind of rankings, in my opinion. Really hard hitting, will get you a very fast TTK. The downside is it's got a slower rate of fire, so you do get punished if you miss your shots compared to a couple of the other weapons that I've shown you in this video. But BAR, you want the Mercury, CGC 30XL barrel, the 3 to 6 times optic, Chariot WR stock, hard scope, fully loaded, polymer grip, the 40 round mag, lengthened, and then the M19 41 hand stop. And I know they've changed a bunch of the underbarrels. I still think the hand stop is probably the go-to underbarrel to have, just because it does still like give you that recoil control. Yes, they've changed a load of the weapons, like kind of recoil patterns, just to kind of mean like, all right, yeah, we've buffed like the strife angled, or we've buffed the smile grip, so we do like more hit a walking movement speed. Hand stop's still going to help you get you those headshots and like neck shots on a more consistent basis, especially with the bar having its neck shot modifier increased. Yeah, so still take that recoil control. With that, we've got the Type 100. Downside with this, once again, it's got a small mag, so quads you can struggle, but one of the fastest TTKs in the game. Recoil booster, 134mm rapid barrel, slate reflector, the Warabashi grip folding stock, acrobatic quick groove grip, the 36 round Russian short mag, subsonic, so you stay off radar, and then the SG98 compact barrel, very much like the Blixen. Absolutely love that loadout. Next, we've got the KG once again, but I didn't actually have the KG here. This should be my Cooper carbine, because the Cooper received some buff. Yes, compressed rounds got nerfed, but as a whole, the Cooper is a much better all-round gun for modes like Rebirth and the new Fortune's Keep. And I think it's been a community favorite for a long time now. But Mercury Silencer, 22-inch Cooper custom barrel, G16 2.5 optic, Cooper 5W stock, hardscope fully loaded, rubber grip, a 60-round drum, lengthened, and then the M19 41 hand stop. And then with that, I kind of just had the Sten once again, because it's going to be between like the brand new SMG, the Sten, the Type 100, and then also the Blixen for those kind of like top tier SMGs, in my opinion. Next, we've got the Vargo, which has been buffed once again. They removed the recoil penalty that they added last season, and it's now one of the easy to use assault rifles. So if you want an assault rifle that's easy to use and it's a great all-rounder, the Vargo is probably the one to go for. Especially, it's one of the few, it's actually, I think, the only non-Vanguard assault rifle that's pretty much viable in the game now in the top tier meta. So that's the Gru suppressor, 18.6-inch task force barrel, axial arms, 3 times scope, Spetsnaz grip, and then the 60-round mag. And then with that, we've got the brand new SMG, which is the Marco 5. And right now I've not leveled it up, but you can already see from the base stats, this is going to be a meta SMG. It's very good, very solid fire rate, and like kind of the build that I'm running right now, stabilizer, Immertio, just kind of basic kind of blueprint from the battle pass, but I'll have a video on this on the channel, so if you're not already, make sure to hit subscribe. But very, very promising initially, and that's kind of like the vibe from a lot of the community as well. Next, we've got the AS-44, which I've actually always enjoyed using. It's not got the fastest ADS speed compared to some of the other weapons, but it's got a very, very fast time to kill. It's a very good sniper support weapon. Recoil booster, the 615mm barrel, slate reflector, Zac skeletal, gun hoe, on hand, polymer grip, the 30 Russian short 60 round mag, subsonic, and the M1941 hand stop. Of course, if you want the faster ADS speed, you can now go for the smile pistol grip, which actually I'd probably advise with the new changes. Then we've got the Kar 98 from Vanguard. Now, the reason I want to include this, because one of the biggest focus points they've had is kind of bringing the Vanguard snipers into play. They've not been in the meta ever, and they've made it so it has the same level of flinch as the Modern Warfare Kar 98 and the Cold War Swiss had. So this is now, if you are a good sniper, an absolute beast, because you're just going to be able to pick those headshots off at a long distance and just like run free. You will shred with the Kar 98K from Vanguard now. I think a lot of snipers are out there rejoicing because they're once again going to be a pain in the ass. But we'll have to wait and see. But that's the build you want to run. Scout Silencer, VDD Rio O2K, short stock, fleet, fully loaded, leather grip, 5-round fast mag, lengthened, and then the smile pistol grip. And then our next loadout that we've got includes a new LMG. If you have a chance, pick this up on the floor loot. I'm not really going to go too much into the setup, but really, really fun, aggressive LMG to be running around with. It's reminds me a bit like the Bruin initially, but kind of, actually, no, you know, like the Black Ops Cold War MG82, but kind of mixed in. Yeah, Cold War MG82 is probably what I'll go for. High fire rate, really mobile. You're gonna have a lot of fun with it, and I think it's gonna be a viable gun. And with that, we've got the Blixen from earlier, which is the meta SMG still. Next, we've got the Automaton, which I think we all know is just like, you know, Mr. Reliable, high fire rate assault rifle. We've got the Mercury Silencer on there, Zac 600mm BFA barrel, 2.5 times slate reflect optic. As I said, you can go for whatever you want. I kind of actually always go for the G16 on this now. 3 to 6 is also viable. Anastasia padded, tight grip, fully loaded, polymer grip, 75 round lengthened, and the M1940 hand stop. I've not changed it at all. It's still the metal one, and like tight grip, I know it's not as required anymore, but there aren't really any other perks that would kind of give you a good option other than maybe steadies to add that additional strafe speed with the new changes to the recoil pattern. And with that, we've got the Blixen again, and then our final loadout is kind of my utility loadout. The Diamatti and the amp got nerfed, so the Psychov is probably now your go-to secondary pistol. You don't have a good mobility, but it can hold its own at close range. And with that, I was like, the KG. All right, it's easy to use assault rifle. Those are my top 10 loadouts for day 1 of the brand new season 4 with all the patch notes. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.